If you are someone who identifies as a space holder, let me tell you why. You are one of the most powerful, and how you can be the most influential collectively. But before I get there, we need to run it back real quick. Because if you are a space holder, how you have confirmed that is going to be important. I hope you've been able to take stock of the things, the people, and the places that you've been holding space in that you don't want to anymore. There's a reason why we start out in places and environments that seem to dysregulate us. If you're a space holder, think about that concept for a second. You are someone in your physical being and energetically, which includes emotionally, right? Because emotions are energy in motion. Energetically as well as physically, you hold space. That means you contain a lot of energy. The thing about containing energy, though, is if you are someone who does this naturally, that usually means you're doing it unconsciously. And if you're doing it unconsciously and you have been birthed or grew up in an environment where you're not really able to be your true self, where you've had to dim or shrink or mask and pretend to be less than what you are, to do more than what you want to physically do, or act like you're not as fortunate and blessed as someone who just appears to receive what they need the moment that they need it. You will put yourself in positions to fit the environment that you've been birthed into, or that you grew up in, or that you are in right now. And the unfortunate thing about being in those environments, there's a cap on what they can handle. The spaces, the places, the things, and especially the people. I know it's been proven to you already that your energy is too much for that place. And that can be a very hard thing. That can be a very hard thing to experience, let alone realize and accept. Because a lot of the time when we grow up this way, what we do is we contort and we shapeshift and we shrink and try to make ourselves small and force ourselves into these spaces so that we can relate to the people around us, because humanly, we just want connection, right? We want to feel like we belong, like we are part of something, because we're supposed to be. And technically, we already are. But when you grow up and you experience those type of environments and the things that come with it, what'll happen is that you won't realize that you still are a part of something. You won't feel necessarily like you're a part of something. You may still feel a subtle pull or a connection to that source that animates all of us. If you really take a beat, take a moment, find some stillness, I bet you can find it. However, the truth of the matter is, or what I should say, the reality that we experience is that in this world, we're going to see and physically experience the opposite of that most of the time. And so we won't feel like we're connected because of what we see, or because of the people that we're around, or because of the environment that we're in and that we're living in, right? So why does that matter? Because if that's where you have been unconsciously operating, there's messaging, right? There are truths that you still hold on to, that you still believe, and that you still fight for subconsciously. I'm gonna need you to look at those. You're gonna have to shine a light on those. You gotta bring them to the surface, bring them to the forefront. When you look at them, you'll realize that you're the one that's deciding that they're true. And one of those truths is that in order for you to feel like you belong, to feel connected, to feel loved, that you can't be everything that you are. Take a moment and really think about what that means. And also take a moment to really feel into what that looks like for you. Admitting that you don't belong where you are right now can hurt so much if you still have an ingrained belief that that means you don't belong anywhere. Is that what you think is true? Do you think if you don't belong here, that you don't belong anywhere? Walk with me hypothetically. Let's just paint a fun picture. If you've ever watched anime, then this should be easy to imagine. If not, just stay with me for a sec. Imagine that the energy you exude, your aura, or we can call it your mana. It's like this hot pink, fuchsia, magenta color. It is so bright and so vibrant. And the brighter it is, the heavier it feels. For someone who is energetically strong, someone who also carries a big, strong, vibrant, heavy aura, they will be used to carrying that. And so what you're carrying won't seem like a lot to them. But imagining you have this bright pink, fuchsia, magenta aura, and you're walking around in a place, in a space with people who have dull yellows, pale greens, and muted grays. Some dark blue, right? Some mauves, right? These are the colors that the people around you are working with. And remember when I said, the brighter the color, the heavier it feels, right? So these people with these pale, muted, dull tones of the colors of aura that they have, that means their auras are light. They're easy, right? And you in this space are probably able to handle more than one. Let's say for every one dull person's aura, that equates to 10 of yours. So that means 10 of them against one of you. It's easy. So you're here and you're interacting with them, and it's no big deal because you carry such a vibrant, heavy aura. It doesn't faze you. But think about how they're experiencing you. As someone with a bright, vibrant, heavy aura, how are the people around you that don't have that have never carried that, and probably could not handle carrying that in this lifetime? How are they experiencing you? Think about it for a second. If you've ever watched an anime where, like, These are people that are well versed in fighting. When someone like this walks into the room, and everyone that is well versed on fighting, and they know what that massive energy feels like, they immediately tense up or are on alert. They start looking around. Who's that? Scoping out the place. Because they need eyes on the one who feels like that. They need to make sure that that person is not there for them, or what is their intention? What are they here for? What are they about to do? And what can I handle? Can I take them? This is what those characters are thinking. If you watch shows like that, then you know the people who are not well versed in fighting, the people who are not on that level, they haven't a care in the world. They have no idea that someone who's taken on 50 people of caliber of this level has just walked into the room. They only notice when they've come face to face with you. Or you show up and walk past them and they're like, oh my God, that guy's big. Or, oh, he's packing. Like, they're not able to sense it because they don't know what it feels like. They have no experience. So, why I'm bringing this up is because usually what happens in a lot of these shows, they'll call it spiritual pressure. And when someone who has really strong or really heavy, massive spiritual pressure walks into a room with people who are not used to the weight of that, they will collapse. They will feel compressed. They will struggle to breathe. I'm telling you this because energetically, a very similar thing is happening. It might not be exactly that, but if you're a space holder, meaning that you're somebody who carries a lot of energy naturally, right? You were born that way. That means you don't have to take energy from people. You feel like you can just naturally exchange it. That's what you want to do. But if you are not aware of what you are doing, meaning like you are unintentionally holding space for anything, everyone, and everywhere, you are walking around suffocating people. You are walking around drowning the people that come into contact with you that are not well versed or that don't carry the same energy and don't walk on the same frequency. Why this is important? It's not to blame you. Get that in your head first and foremost. I'm not trying to blame you. What I'm trying to do is make you aware. Because if that's what's happening, then first of all, you know why the people around you are reacting to you the way they are. They may love you at first, and then all of a sudden switch up and you don't know why. It's because from afar, you're shiny, you're pretty, you're new, you're fun. They want to get close, they're attracted. And then they get close. And then after a while, it's like, oh, my shoulders hurt. I can't breathe. Oh my God, I feel like I have. And if they're not aware, they're going to start taking that shit out on you. Because subconsciously, what they're going to notice is that they only feel this way around you. Now, you may think, okay, so then why don't they leave me alone? Because again, this is all happening subconsciously. And at the same time, the same breath, humans, the thing about us with our soulfulness and the spirits that we carry, each of us, we are drawn, we are attracted to people like this. Because people like this bring out qualities in us that we recognize are true. Because when you think about it, There's one source that is animating all of us. And that source is the energy of everything. And if you're a space holder, you're likely the only being that is in a human body that's the closest to that energy. The energy that animates everything. That source is everything. It is abundance in itself. If you are someone who holds space naturally, you have such a massive energy. You carry abundance naturally. And so what people are going to do is they're going to see you. They're going to feel you. They're going to want you. But what they're not realizing is they don't really want you. They want what it feels like to be closer to the source that animates all of us. Now, essentially, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, if you're someone who's carrying this, why shouldn't you be able to share it with everyone? The problem is when people are operating unconsciously, that they are not intentional about what they're doing. So they don't realize the truth is you can't handle that. The truth is you haven't done enough inner work to be that close to someone who carries so much energy. It suffocates you. Most people, they don't want to hear that shit. Don't you dare try to tell them that. First of all, they'll call you crazy. And second of all, they'll try to flip it onto you that you're the one who can't handle the truth and there's something wrong with you and you don't this, you don't that. And then I know, if you know what I'm talking about, like you've already experienced this with multiple people and it's just like, as the loving person that you are, you might have wanted to give them the time of day, give them a chance, hear them out and see like, okay, maybe we can resolve this. Maybe we can work this out. That's a beautiful way to be. And it doesn't work for most people. Most of those kinds of people. Because the truth is, they don't want to resolve the conflict. The truth is, they are the conflict. The conflict is happening internally within them, and they are upset about it. And so they're making it your problem. That is a projection. That is why certain people you can't seem to ever get along with, and they're always complaining about something. There's always a conflict between you and them. That is why. More than likely, that is why. And I'm not saying that to say that people who hold space don't carry shadows too, and don't have, flaws and issues. We all do. We're human. But again, what I'm talking about is the difference between a pattern of someone who is always irritable and always picking a fight with you, as opposed to someone who you're having a conflict with and you're able to resolve it because both of you want to work it out. And if you both can come to terms and say, well, we just got to agree to disagree, that's a beautiful thing because you both know what it is and you can just walk your separate ways. No big deal, right? But then there are some people that they want you to know how much they hate you, but they won't get from under your ass. Why is that? So this is what I'm talking about. And these are the people that are actually suffering from being in close contact with you. They cannot handle you. They cannot handle your energy. And instead of just being the type of people that allow you to go, fly, be free, beautiful butterfly. No. They do this. Instead of letting the flowers bloom in beautiful places, taking pictures and going back home, they pick them, pull them right out of the ground and take them home with them. Now, it's not an issue of having beautiful bouquets, but sometimes just let the earth be beautiful where it's at and come back and visit it. Sometimes things don't need to be owned by you. And so these types of people, they take issue with you because you're too big for them to own. That's what it really is about. What I really want to bring to your attention is the opportunity that exists when you shift. Literally. Shift your mindset, shift your belief, and shift your environment and everything and everyone that comes with it. When you do that intentionally and you're able to exude the full strength of your energy, that vibrant pink magenta aura that we pictured earlier, and the people in your environment are actually people who have vibrant auras within themselves. And so they see you and they hear your story and they're like, oh, hell yeah. Like, glow as strong and as bright as you want to. You can even go brighter than them. And they'll be like, oh, damn, I need to step my cookies up. I need to get on your level. What you do? Let's go to the gym together. Instead of trying to dull you and complain about how you're outshining them. When you can meet people like that, when you're in environments like that, when you're able to shine like that, now you're really making space. Now you're really making waves. Now you're really here doing what you came here for. As someone who was born to hold space, there's going to be a certain flavor of how you do it. All of us do it a different way. And think about the energy of space. It's massive. There's enough for everyone. There's so many angles and perspectives for all of us. So just picture this. An idealist dream. A multitude of us, space holders. And we're all holding space in different areas, in different aspects. Some of us who hold space for people's identity. There's some of us who hold space for people's sexuality. There's some of us who hold space for people's receptivity. There's some of us who hold space for just artistry. There's some of us who hold space for you to literally look the way you feel. I'm like, I can't even describe what that is. It's like, I don't know, some people will call it glamour, some people will call it beauty, some people can call it styling, whatever. Even in those topics, right, those categories, there's still subsections in every single one of them. You can mix styling with sexual healing. You can mix artistry with becoming exactly who you are, like your self-identity, your real identity. You can mix activism with architecture. You can do so much. And people are doing it already. So the thing is, why aren't you? If I ask you what you're doing every day that aligns with your dream, aligns with the feeling of why you're here, the purpose that fulfills you, what can you tell me? When I thought about this, I used to think I wanted to be a stylist. I was. I did it. I loved it. And when I got real with myself about the challenges I was experiencing in that career, the thing that annoyed me the most was when I couldn't get real and couldn't get deep with my clients. When people would come in and I had to turn them over quickly because I had other appointments and we're only here to talk about what they're wearing on the outside. But me being a space holder, they felt comfortable and safe and secure enough to talk about what was going on the inside. Me also being a space holder that was not intentional and did not understand boundaries, I was giving way too much of my time and energy to people who did not really ask for that, right? So they were asking for someone to hear them. And I mean, technically, like my boss, my manager would say, oh, they need to go to therapy. And I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't. Knowing what I know now, I'm like, oh, actually, I could have mixed being someone who holds space like that. Actually did go to school to attempting to be a therapist before settling on fashion and going full force with that. I could have mixed those two. And at some point in time, I did. I was doing retail therapy sessions. That's what I called it. And I still enjoy dressing up and helping people dress up. But what I really care about is that what you're doing, right, what you're putting on your body is a fully authentic expression of how you feel internally. If you feel at conflict with yourself all the time, like at war all the time, oh, I know what that feels like. That's not something that you're going to want to express unless it's your aesthetic. But that's intentional, right? So if you're at war with yourself and you're hating aspects of yourself, you don't even want to look at them. So you don't even want to talk about it. You don't even want to admit they exist. So if anyone asks you if you're at war with yourself, you're not going to say yes. This is a problem. Because what you're expressing on the outside is not going to match how you feel on the inside. And there will be a disconnect, especially to someone who's as energetically sensitive as me. I'm going to see that shit. I'm going to feel that shit before I even see it. And I'm going to want to help. But what I've learned to be intentional about my space holding is I will not insert myself to help people who are not in a position to help themselves. Meaning they refuse to look at the war that is happening within themselves. That means they're not in a position for me to hold space for them. That means me meeting them with my aura and what I'm about, I'm going to suffocate them. I'm going to walk into the room with my energy on 10, shining like I know exactly who I am. And I'm going to expect them to want to do that same thing. But in order for them to get there, they're going to have to look at the dark parts, the hidden parts, the parts they are considering ugly, that I personally don't think so. And what I've found is those are the parts that are the most powerful and probably the most you. You've been lied to. You've been told that they're ugly, but that's not true at all. But anyway, besides the point. Point is, I'm gonna come up in there, expressing myself and wanting you to do the same. And you're gonna struggle because, maybe not you, they're gonna struggle because they're gonna feel like me being my full self is smashing them up against a wall. And they're gonna feel like they can't breathe. They're not gonna understand why, but they're gonna act out. And what's really acting out is the shadow, the dark part, and the parts of themselves that they refuse to look at. They're being activated by me showing up and expressing all of my parts. That includes the parts that I used to hide, the dark parts, the ones I look at. Their parts are reacting to mine. And if they are not well versed in looking at them, they are going to act out subconsciously, not even realizing that they're being manipulated by those parts that are screaming for attention and at the same breath screaming for them to get away from me. Because when you've lived a certain way for so long, if you have not accepted that things need to change, you will fight for everything to stay the same, even if it's killing you. This is, unfortunately, human nature. Now, I'm of the belief that very soon we can hopefully call it old human nature. But that's what I'm working with you on, right? Spaceholder who accepts they're a spaceholder and wants to be intentional about it. This can be old human nature. And so I've learned that in order for me to be as real and as authentic as I am here to be, right? To be exactly who I am, remember myself, self-actualize, which is really just being exactly who I was born as, remember exactly how I always was, and being that without being afraid. I've learned that I only meet people with my energy in that way, holding space for them, if and only if they're willing to hold space for themselves first. The thing about being someone who is naturally a space holder is if you are not intentional about it, you are exuding all of your spiritual pressure everywhere, all the time, suffocating people, drowning people, and it's all coming out of you. If it's always all coming out of you, if you're always giving it away, what are you holding for yourself? Do you feel like you're dying? If you're giving away all of your life force energy and nothing is replenishing you, why do you think you feel like that? When you become intentional about holding space, you will learn that you will need to hold space for yourself first. And that includes making space for yourself, making space for all of yourselves. When you do that, you will become clear on your boundaries, on your values that inform your boundaries. And that will inform what you need to feel appreciated. When you know what you need to feel appreciated, your energy will compound and it will stack. And the thing about that, what's dangerous about that, is if you're in environments where the people cannot handle your energy before it's compounded, if you're in environments where people are not appreciating you, well, there you go. That's why. They can't handle that energy. You need to get out of there. You need to go where you are appreciated, because the compounding of your energy will lead to more. And what space holders who are intentional, what space makers know is that there is always enough for everyone. There really is. There is so much. When you find the environment, because you've created the environment by holding space for yourself, to become appreciated. And so your energy compounds because you've appreciated yourself first. The waves you will make, my friend, are exactly the waves that you came here to make. And this is what makes you, as you are, the most powerful. But in that moment, being someone intentionally making space makes you the most influential collectively. Are you ready for that? I know that's a silly question because we don't do things ready. We do things when we are tired, sick and tired of the way things are right now, and we just are desperate for change. So when you come to the point where you are so tired of contorting yourself into a small ball, shrinking yourself and dimming your light to be around people who cannot appreciate you, no fault to them, but you're suffocating them. They can't breathe around you, so they can't appreciate you. When you pull your energy back away from them into yourself, and you make space internally first, you will start to compound it by appreciating yourself. And then the people who can appreciate you will start to find you, because you'll start to pull their aura towards you. It's like a magnetization that'll happen. And then you guys will become attracted to each other, and the change that can be made. Ooh, I'm getting so excited just thinking about it. I don't want you to see my crazy yet. But do you understand what can happen when just a small amount of us get together? When just 2 or 3? The waves that are made. Now imagine a multitude, bro. Y'all not ready. So, anyways, hopefully you're starting to get the picture. You're starting to understand, and you're starting to accept that you are, in fact, a space holder, and that you've been doing it unintentionally. And it's time to do it intentionally. And it's time to turn that energy inward and appreciate yourself so that it can appreciate and compound. And so that you can start living like you came here to live. If I'm talking to you, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for what the next few years is about to look like for you. Trust me when I say, all you need is awareness. If you're a space holder, all you need to do is accept that that is true about you. Shit will change. It will not be able to stay the same. You don't have to try too hard. Trust me. It will be harder to remain the same. All you have to do is accept. That's who you are. And watch it turn around. I'm excited for you.